All right, so I want to show you guys this asset system I built using some AI tools. So this is just the dashboard here. You can tell the overall value of the assets. We use this basically. Our coffee roasting business has a bunch of coffee machines and grinders that are out there with customers, or some of them are at the factories and the cafes. And I wanted the system to manage it all. We previously had a spreadsheet, but it was just clunky and messy using it. So I wanted to know like what's requiring service, what the value of all this equipment is, all that kind of stuff in real time. And so you can see this here, the assets page. You can see 127 assets there. That's like the card view. And then we've got the list view here where you can just view them all in that way. It'll show like the key information there. But if you want more information from each one, you can just click it and it'll bring up all the key information from that particular asset. You can also export an Excel file just by clicking that, and it'll export all your assets depending on what's displayed. So you've got these filters here. So you can do like, let's do out of service. So this is 16 different assets that are out of service. So we need to get onto the servicing of these. If you export that, it'll just export those assets and give you that information. And there's all kinds of different filters you can use here for different pieces of equipment, whether we own it or the customer owns it, whether there's certain depreciation rules, whether it's on-site or off-site, all that kind of stuff. There's a couple of key things I want to show you. First is, so maintenance. So we've got this set up so you can add like a maintenance log for a piece of equipment. And then when you do that, it will have these rules to work out whether something's in and out of service. So I've got a rules area in here. This is in the servicing rules. So basically you've got it set up so it will say, these are the different options for the status. And then if something is owned by us, we're responsible for the maintenance, but the service due date is overdue, then we have it as out of service. So this is how we create those rules in here. And then in the assets area, it will automatically apply those rules. So this particular one here, it's a grinder that needs to be serviced. So we know that needs to be locked in for a service. And you can, when you do lock it in, you can just go into the maintenance area, add in, so you put in the grinder in here, I think it was a Maca, and then do like whatever the maintenance was, preventative maintenance, put in the date. When you put that in there, it will then update the last service for that asset, and it will then apply that rule and say that it's no longer requiring service, which is cool. The other cool thing though is the asset values. So I've got this set up so we can do depreciation rules. So you go in here, you can create rules on how to depreciate the asset. So we've set this up as monthly depreciation. So basically what we're doing here is depreciating the asset in full over 5 years, but applying it every month. So what happens is you have a piece of equipment. So this one here, for example, this Mac up, let's have a look at that one. On the financial tab. So this is saying we bought it for 900. It's currently worth 380, but we started depreciating it in July, and it's got 2 depreciation events ready to apply. So the start of August and the start of September, it's depreciated each of those months. So rather than waiting to the end of the year, you've got that there. You can do it now. So if I depreciate that now, it will then reduce the overall valuation of that asset there, apply those rules, and it'll put in the history here of what was depreciated. And then it will affect the overall value of your assets. So you can go back to the dashboard and you'll see what your assets are worth. It'll be worth slightly less. You can also do this balance sheet thing here. So I've got rules in here which will have like an account for your accounting system. And then it'll say what's included in that. So it's like, okay, any piece of equipment that is at the roastery included in this particular account, and that's the value it should be on the balance sheet. And that will reduce as the assets depreciate, and then you can update your accounting system whenever you want to do that, or get your accountant to do it. But you've got the live information on it, and you can also create snapshots here of what the assets were valued at certain points of time. So you can look at like previous financial years, or the start of this financial year, or the current valuation, that type of thing. So I built all of this with Replit. I didn't do any code for this. I haven't even looked at the code for this. I don't even know what code this is written in, to be honest. You can do all that with Replit. You can look at the source code. You can go through it. You can copy code out of it and use other AI tools to work on it. I didn't do any of that. I've built all of this just by sitting back and asking the AI to do things, pretty much.